In this video, we're going to be looking at using our place value tables to help us to convert decimals into fractions, and later on converting fractions into decimals. Now, you've probably seen this place value table in the previous video, although it does have a couple of extra columns over here on the right, and those columns are the ones that we're going to be focusing on today, and that is going to help us to change these into a fraction. So as you can see, the first example has been done for you. We're looking at a decimal number of 0.4. We're writing it in our place value table in the correct spot here. We're then having to think about what that is as a fraction, and 4 in the tenths column is written as 4/10. And then of course your last step that you are well aware of by now is that you always simplify a fraction if you can. So we've found the highest common factor is 2 in both of these. So 4/10 is the same as 2/5. If we look at our second example here, 1.8, the step is the same. Write it into our place value column like this. Now we need to think about what that means. It means one whole, and we know that the whole part goes out the front. We're going to be creating a mixed number in this particular case. And then we have 8/10, which is an 8 in the tenths column, which looks like this when we draw it. Again, we need to look and simplify our 8/10. 2 goes into both of these. Remember, we only simplify the fraction part. So we end up with a fully simplified fraction of 1 4/5. Now you might like to pause the video at this stage and have a go at doing the next couple on your own, and then you can check your answers in a couple of minutes, see if you've done them the same way as me. Okay, so pause the video now. Alright, if you've had a go at these and you've had some success, you should have something written like this on your table. 0.45, which means we've got 4/10 and 5/100 to deal with, or we could say that we have 45/100. So what does 45/100 look like? It looks like a fraction like this. Almost there, we just have to simplify, and I'm pretty sure that 5 goes into both of these. How many times? 9 and 20. So the decimal number of 0.45 is the same as 9/20. 3.05 is a 3 as a whole number, so it's our whole number part of the mixed number, and then a 5 in the hundredths column, so 5/100. Simplifying 5/100, 5 goes into both of them. How many times? Once. How many times? 20 times. Alright, the last 3 are going to be a little bit more complex just because they are numbers that we're less familiar with. 65 is a 6 in the tens, a 5 in the units. 1/10, no hundredths, and 3 thousandths. So now we're going to be looking at the idea that we have 103 thousandths. So the 65 is our whole number at the front, and we have 103 thousandths like this. Are there common factors of 103 and 1,000? Not that I'm aware of, so that is as simplified as that fraction may well be. Second last one, we're looking at 11 being 1/10 and 1 unit. 1 in the tenths column, 4 in the hundredths, and 6 in the thousandths. So my 11 again goes at the front as a whole number, and my 146 is related to the thousandth, so I put it over 1,000. Now I'm not too familiar with numbers that go into 146 and 1,000, but they are both even, so it might be that you start off looking at dividing the top and the bottom by 2, which would give you 73 over 500. Last one, 4 units, 3/10, no hundredths, 5 thousandths is 4 and 305 over 1,000. Again, looking to see what goes into 305 and 1,000. If a number ends in 5 or 0, we know 5 goes into it, so that might be our starting point. 5 goes into 305 61 times, and it goes into 1,000 200 times. Alright, so there's some pretty clear instructions on how to change a decimal number into a fraction. There's a sheet here for you. If you would like to have a go at practicing some of your own ones, you're most welcome to. Now we're going to look at how we change fractions into decimals. So we're looking at going the other way. I'm pretty sure that if I asked anyone in the classroom, how do you write a half as a decimal, you would have no problems in telling me that it's equal to 0.5. Do we know why that happens though? Well, let's have a look. 1/2 actually means 1. How many 2's? How many 2's fit into 1? What does this look like as a division question? We put the number that we are dividing by at the front, and our numerator, the 1, inside. We go through the division process. Does 2 fit into 1? No, it doesn't. So what I now have to do is start looking at what happens after the decimal point. So I said 2 doesn't fit into 1, but I do have one remainder. Does 2 fit into 10? Yes, it does. It fits in 5 times. So that's where our answer of 0.5 comes from. Let's have a look at this idea for the fraction of 4/5. We'll think of it as being 4 divided by 5. So as a division, it looks like this. We know that 5 doesn't fit into 4. Our answer is going to be less than 1. So let's start straight away by putting in a decimal point and a 0. We're not changing the value of that 4 at all, but it's giving us somewhere to go when we divide by 5. So does 5 fit into 4? No. Put down a decimal point. Does 5 fit into 40? Yes, it does. 8 times. So 4/5 is equal to 0.8. Last one, 5/8. We remember that this is the same as 5 how many 8's? We know that it's less than 1. If I had eaten 5/8 of a pizza, I certainly have not eaten a whole pizza. I've eaten a little bit over a half. Let's look at what that looks like as a division question. 5 how many 8's? We put the 8 at the front and the 5 inside. We know it doesn't go in, so let's put 1 0 down there for starters. So does 8 fit into 5? No, it doesn't. But does 8 fit into 50? Well, not exactly, but it does go in a few times. 6 8's are 48, so that's as close as we're going to get. So 6 8's are 48, so we're going to have 2 left over. So I'm going to write down another 0 and put my 2 there. Does 8 fit into 20? Not exactly, but it does go twice with 4 left over. So I'm going to add another 0 and place my 4 up there. Does 8 fit into 40? You bet it does. It goes in 5 times. So 5/8 as a fraction is equal to 0.625 as a decimal.